to the Workforce Connections podcast, where we discuss workforce development in Southern Nevada. Here's your host.
Hi, welcome to the WC podcast. Today we have a special guest, a member of our Workforce Connections board, and also a dear friend, my fellow Peruvian brother. Here we have Dan Giraldo from Bank of America. Dan, welcome to the podcast and for being here with us.
Oh, I appreciate it. It's an honor.
Yeah. So, Dan, I know that we have a lot of things in common, but before we get to those things, tell me a little bit about what you think about, now that you've seen our brand new studio and this idea of doing a podcast and reaching our audience with a new medium.
Well, it's interesting you say that. I think it's a unique opportunity, right? I was thinking about it driving in today. It just gives you, when I say you, I'm talking about the Workforce Connections, a platform to kind of discuss and talk about some of the great partnerships that you have and created here in the community. Gives you a platform for your board members to talk about, the different issues and how they're looking at workforce. So I think this is a fantastic idea to be able to do that. So congratulations on this. I love it.
Thanks, Dan. We're excited too. We've gotten nothing but great feedback so far from those who we've shown the early episodes. Again, we're planning to releasing 8 to 10 episodes at once here in just a week or two for the general audience. But
wow, I'm one of 8?
Yeah.
This is great.
Early reviews are going really well. So let's dive into why you're a member of the Workforce Connections Board. Again, the legislation that funds our work, it calls for businesses to be a majority of these local boards. There are 550 local boards across the nation. Every one of them must have at least a 51 majority of business members like you. Right. And of course, also the chair under the regulations must be a member of the business community. And so I know that you, representing Bank of America, have really been active here in our board. Tell us why you think it's important for Bank of America, other banks, business in general, to have a voice here at the local Workforce Development Board.
Sure. So for many years, Bank of America has partnered with nonprofit partners, community organizations, and organizations like Workforce Connections that have similar missions that we do on upward economic mobility. So just being appointed to the board is a great honor for us as Bank of America, but I think Bank of America, being in 90 markets across the nation, can look at different ideas, things that are working in those communities, and be able to bring it here locally and give and share those ideas that are working. So I think it's important to have businesses as well, big and small, to listen to the needs of businesses and what's really driving and what they're looking for in the workforce. So the ability to have businesses, it's important, and to have that voice as well.
Share a little bit with us. I know that, again, as a bank, you really help small, medium, large businesses to expand, to grow in many ways, access to capital. But what are you seeing in the labor market regarding workforce? Not just perhaps your clients, but even at Bank of America. Have you seen the job seeker change in what they're looking for in employment?
I think so. When you think about what has happened currently with COVID, there's been a lot of changes, right, in the workforce. We were hit hard locally. The needs have changed. Listen to our clients now that they're looking at 2022. They're looking for investments and looking towards really hitting the ground running in 2022. But the changes have been incredible through these last years. As locally as us, our workforce is always changing, right? The mobility is a big aspect of it. Being able to work from home and having those opportunities. We had a change during COVID to provide that opportunity for our workforce to be able to take care of the family, to take care of their kids while they're at home. So we gave those opportunities, but now that COVID is slowing down, it's back to work, right? We got to get ourselves back to work and back into those offices. But no, it's been an ever-changing and ever-moving target for us.
Yeah, we see that a lot in our one-stop centers. Today, the list of priorities for the job seeker has evolved, and salary used to always be the highest priority, and now it's not. As you said, now the ability to work from home, flexibility to be mobile, maybe built-in childcare, all these things are things that job seekers are asking about and again, have elevated on their list of priorities when looking towards employment. So it is a shifting labor market. Interesting. So tell us also, I know, again, it's been now a few months, but you, after being a board member for a while, have now transitioned into a leadership role. Right. You've become the chair of our Finance and Budget Committee. How has that transition been, going from, again, being a new board member to now being in leadership?
Interesting. So you guys did a fantastic job onboarding myself being a board member. But as any organization, when you join, you need the time to learn your role, your responsibilities of being a board member. This board is unique when you think about, you have large, small businesses, you have government agencies, you have elected officials, you have higher education from K through 12 as well, looking at workforce. So it's been a interesting and great process for me to learn about those different needs in those different sectors. Transitioning to a leadership role as a chair for the finance, I look at it and take it somewhat seriously. There's opportunities to make sure when we have our board meetings that the public is heard and making sure we give that time. I also want to make sure that our board members on that committee are giving solid recommendations for the entire board. And so it's unique, and it's an honor as well to be able to be in that position.
And I know that you keep a close eye on things, because one of the first things we talked about when you came on board was we were dealing with, if you will, we were dealing with issues on our budget where it was brought up to our attention by the state that we were authorized to spend 25% on our budget of our budget on board operations. Right. And so, the national average was around 15 to 20 at that time, and we had conversations about that. How do we become more lean? How do we make sure that more of the resources actually make it to the one-stop centers to help small businesses and job seekers? And I know you're happy now, and most board members are happy, because we were able to make efficiency gains, to change structural things, so we are under 15%, so under the national average, and that means that an additional 10% of our funds are being directed to serve more people, more small businesses. So I know the budget committee was happy to hear that, and so was the entire board.
Oh, yes, and that's a tribute to you and your staff being able, to take those ideas and going back and making them happen. So kudos to you and your staff on that.
Thanks, Dan. Yeah. And so I know one of the things that we did a few months ago that was fun and very educational for all of us was we traveled to D.C. To go to the National Association of Workforce Boards National Forum, annual forum. And so last year we received a big award there. We were the one board out of 550 boards to win the Lori Moran Award for aligning workforce and economic development in our region. Our partners were the Vegas Chamber. And so you went to D.C., and I know you got to meet your peers. You got to hear best practices. Why do you think that should be something that every board member should really set aside time to do? How was that trip and what you heard and saw beneficial for you as a board member?
Well, for me, I would say the ability to sit down with some of your board members and get to know them better was a great part of what I'm doing now. I've developed some friendships, not only friendship, but some partnerships that I'm looking to do with some of the board members when we're looking at what we're doing for the community. On top of that, like you said, the going to this conference and being able to hear best practices across the nation, not only for government agencies, but best practice for businesses and how they respond and what they work for, and their partnership with those local workforce connection boards are amazing. And so I was able to bring back a lot of information for myself and how can Make America partner better in the community. So I thought it was just a fantastic couple of days spent there. And then the ability to also meet with your elected officials and talk and sit down and let them know what the needs are as we're moving forward and what we're doing locally to make that impact on the workforce.
Yeah, and for us, the feedback was really positive from our D.C. delegation, our U.S. senators and our U.S. congressmen and women. They told us it was really inspiring for them to know that business members like you and others traveled with us, spent the time to be there, to go talk to them. they talk to their colleagues, and they say there's some of their colleagues that had nobody show up from their region and state. So again, I think we're doing Southern Nevada proud by investing the time to go make sure that we are learning best practices from across the nation, but also always connecting our work to those people advocating for us in Washington, D.C.
Right. And you have to give it to our elected officials, too, the ability that they open up the doors for us to go to talk to them, too. I think our delegation is the most successful delegation you'll find in the country. So.
And I remember when you and I met, you were actually working for Congresswoman Dina Titus.
That's right.
Almost a decade ago. So
that's right.
We're kind of revealing our age here a little bit.
A little bit, right.
But I left the probably one of the most important issues I wanted to talk to you about for the end, and it has to do with us as a local board. Mm-hmm. Really, we have a long history of improving the access to our system for job seekers. But there's another side of the equation. Job seekers are our product or our supply, if you want to say that. A ready worker is the supply product of our system, but the business is the demand side. They are really the ones that hire these ready workers. The business are the ones that need to tell us what they look for in a worker so that we can prepare that worker. And so a few months ago, I think approaching a year now, we launched this new idea of us as a system to partner with our state partners like Dieter and the Nevada Business and Industry, and of course, in this case, the Vegas Chamber and the Las Vegas Clark County Library District, to create one-stops for employers. And that's the concept of the Employee MV Business Hubs. You visited the two that we have now. One at the Vegas Chamber, which, by the way, is the only one of its kind in the nation, the only chamber of commerce to host a one-stop for employers, and then one at the beautiful Sahara West Library as well. And I know I've talked to you a little bit off the air that there's more coming, but I wanted to ask you, now that you've seen the investment of having physical places for small businesses to go and access all of the resources in the public workforce development system, why is that important, first of all, because you help small businesses, and what would you like to see from that model moving forward? You got it.
So let's sit back. Let's take this back a little bit and think about the opportunity for small businesses, what they have at these one-stop shops here. They have the ability to go down, sit down, meet with somebody that works for Workforce Connections and explain some of their needs, their wants, and a ready workforce, and get an opportunity to hire somebody. Now, on top of that, they may have the ability to have some financial assistance on paying from the state to them to pay for that individual as they train for them. It's amazing. It's one of the best kept secrets in this state, that an opportunity for businesses to help them so they can take those funds and put them elsewhere to help them thrive. So it's an amazing concept that, and like I said, a best kept secret, but we only have them in two locations, right? We have them at the West Sahara Library, and then the Vegas Chamber has one within their office. As we were talking, we wanted to open up more, and how could we do that? One of the thoughts that I shared with you, I think, couldn't the other chambers also have a virtual or some type of office space where their members could come and sit down and just pick up the phone or bring up the computer and set up an appointment with one of your associates there to talk about their needs as well. And they don't have to travel so far to the Vegas Chamber downtown or up on the west side up to the West Sahara Library. So those are the things that I think moving forward are some of the opportunities that we have to really open the doors for more businesses to assess these opportunities.
And I love the idea. Well, you heard it here first, right, at the WC podcast before it's even happened. But yeah, we're going to cook up that idea and see how we make it a reality. Because again, as you say, in a time with limited resources, limited people, we've all learned about this virtual world. We all attend more meetings than we ever had, work later than we ever had with Zoom and all these things. And so we're going to look into how do we create these virtual access points, as you said, that won't take more people, it'll just take more technology to connect the people we already have in these hubs to any business that might need it, no matter where they're located geographically in our valley.
Right.
Yep. We're going to follow up on that.
We will.
Yeah.
We'll keep working on it.
Probably on one of those days we're having ceviche somewhere, right? Together.
That's right.
So we've reached the end of our podcast, Dan. And again, I want to thank you for being here. You are, again, a blessing to the board with how active you are and how passionate you are about the work. I'd like to ask you to maybe share some departing thoughts with our audience, and then we'll get to the end of the podcast.
No problem. It was a pleasure being here. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I think as we look at workforce for the 21st century, there's still a lot of work to be done. We were hit one of the hardest during COVID, but have been bringing those numbers down with huge partnerships with the LVGEA, with chambers, Latin Chamber, the Vegas Chambers. And so the work is going to move forward. So I look forward to that, and hopefully we can bring some of our expertise to help with that as we move forward.
We look forward to that, Dan. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you.
So that's it for today's podcast. We hope you join us in the future. Until next time, stay safe. Here we're back. Dan, thank you for staying over for our bonus segment called Against the Wall. We're going to play with you a few segments. Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right.
Ready.
The first segment is called Your Favorites. So I'm going to give you a few categories, and you're going to tell me your favorite one from that category. We're going to start with your favorite animal.
Dog.
Your favorite ice cream.
Chocolate.
Favorite funny movie.
Funny movie. Meet the Parents.
Favorite instrument.
Piano.
Favorite place to go with your family.
To the ocean.
Nice. Favorite sport to watch in person.
Soccer.
Favorite holiday.
Christmas.
Favorite way to relax.
Just relaxing, just doing nothing.
Awesome. All right, we're going to go to segment 2, and we call this one Tough Choices.
All right.
But I'm not going to ask you anything about Tracy, so don't worry.
All right. Perfect.
So, but with you and Tracy do you prefer vacation or staycation?
Vacation.
Nights or morning?
Nights.
Do you lose sleep, or do you rather lose sleep or skip a meal?
Skip a meal.
How about owing money versus owing a favor?
Owing a favor.
And are you more of a city guy or countryside?
I'm a country guy.
I've seen pictures of you in Wyoming, so yes.
Yes.
Sweating or shivering?
Shivering.
Red wine or white wine?
Red wine.
Awesome. So we are now rounding the corner for our last segment, and it's called Finish the Sentence.
All right.
So I'm going to give you a few sentences. You will finish them for me. Not many people know Dan likes to
play soccer.
If Dan could have, he would have.
I'll pass on that one.
All right. If Dan had a reality TV show about his life, his theme song would be.
Oh, a theme song? I'll pass on that. I can't have a song for my theme song. Yeah.
3 words that would describe Dan are
fun, great to hang out with, and caring.
Yep, I agree. And Dan's biggest joy in life is?
My family.
Absolutely. I'm a witness to that. And here is the best one, the hardest choice, the best question today, Dan, is doing the WC podcast today was?
It was awesome.
Great. Well, Dan, you finished the rapid fire segments. We thank you for being here.
Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate it.